MMA people. Alrighty. Float on top. Alright. So, what is the next move for Kamaru Usman? As many of you may already know, in the documentary that just dropped with the UFC on Roku, they showed a conversation between Dana White and Abdia Delasili's ball. Ali Abdelis. I ain't even gonna don't get me started. It's not about Abdelia Delaziz today. All right. So they were talking, the two gentlemen, Dana and Ali, and the talks were about matchup between Kamaru Usman and Shavkat Rakhmonov. So apparently, this video or this footage is about a year old or so, is what Kamaru Usman is saying. Fair enough. And he's saying, well, when this video was shot, I ended up fighting Kamzat Chimaev after that. So to say I'm scared is ridiculous, which I agree with. I don't think he's scared at all. But I will say this: what are you gonna do next? And I'm speaking from a fan perspective. I would like to know, but I also have suggestions. All right, here's my suggestions for Kamaru Usman. I got three suggestions, and then I have a fourth wild card suggestion. So, in order, number one, I think you should fight Shavkat Rakhmonov. As a fan, I would just love to see the matchup. Honestly, it's not necessarily to say that he has anything to prove. I just don't see where else he would go. This is a young up and comer, undefeated, and it would surely, if he beat Shavkat, it would put him right next for in line for a title shot. And I believe if he beat Shavkat, that puts him right back in title contention. He would be next in line, in my opinion. All right. If you don't fight Shavkat, well, then I say you aim for the winner of Ian Machado Gary and MVP. Okay. So I say that because that's a pretty high profile fight, and it is a supposed to be like a number one contenders type of fight. So whoever wins that is should be fighting a contender for the title next. So if he wins between if he fights the winner between Ian and MVP and wins, then he may have one more fight to get back to title contention. Shavkat, you're right back in the mix. I would say winner between Ian and MVP. I say you might need one more to put you back into title contention. And if you don't fight either one of those, then hey, the last guy you fought was number 11 in the middleweight division. How about you fight the number 11 in the welterweight division, Joaquin Buckley? Yes, I said it. Kamaru. This is a good matchup for Kamaru, I would say. Also, if if he wins against Joaquin Buckley, it's not necessarily the highest profile win, but I'd say at this point, Joaquin Buckley has been able to draw enough eyes to himself where Kamaru Usman isn't going to take a huge dip in popularity or anything like that. In fact, um, Joaquin Buckley is very popular within the MMA community, and he has a fan base outside of that as well. So his fan base is starting to stretch, and it gives us as fans an opportunity to see where Kamaru is. Is he going to be going getting closer to just going off into the sunset, or is he still here to compete for championships? And him fighting against Joaquin Buckley, I think, would tell us the answers to all of that. And if he beats Joaquin Buckley again, he could he could actually fight Joaquin Buckley, then fight the winner of, if he was to win, of course, he could fight Joaquin Buckley, then fight the winner of Ian versus MVP, and then possibly fight for a title. You know, I think that could be a possible avenue. Um, but if he doesn't fight any of the people that I just mentioned as a wild card, I would say number one in welterweight versus number one in middleweight. Why? Why not just make it a number one contenders match as well? Or at least, and if nothing else, it would be fun for fans to see if Sean Strickland can get that W back, or if Kamaru just has his number. And it would say, okay, well, if Kamaru can beat Sean Strickland, then he can definitely be in contention for middleweight titles as well. And maybe he's just outgrown the welterweight division. It's time for him to move up, and let's see. So that is probably not likely, but it would be fun. And I know guys like Sean Strickland love to get those ones back. So he lost to Kamaru Usman early in his career, and I'm sure he'd like to get that one back, especially up there at middleweight. I'd definitely tune in. Sean Strickland versus Usman could be a headliner for a fight night for sure, or a co-main event for a pay-per-view. Kamaru Usman versus Shavkat Rakhmonov, headliner for fight night, co-main for pay-per-view. Um, any time. I honestly, I think him and Joaquin Buckley could be a headliner for a fight night, or him versus the winner of Ian and MVP could be a headliner for a fight night. I wouldn't say co-main for pay-per-view though. Him versus Ian, maybe. Maybe him versus Ian could, depending on who else you had as the main event, things like that. Especially if it was like a counter card, absolutely. If there was some way to make that happen. But yeah, that's my take on all of this. Let's see. Alrighty. Mm, 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 mm.